From the banks of the Allegheny, welcome to Film Bits True Detective, Episode 2, Part 5, or maybe 6. Today we're going to pick up with, we had just left off, Marty and Rust had visited the chicken ranch. Rust was looking at this flyer for a church, and we're about to transition into modern day Rust. So let's go ahead and jump in with that.
North Shore Psychiatric Hospital, Lubbock, Texas. I spent 4 months there in 93.
You feel like talking about that?
Well, I'm sure. Who gives a shit? Sophia, my daughter, she was on her tricycle.
Again, the methodical motion.
We lived on a little bend in the road, and
Just great acting here.
they said that
The deliberate nature as he's reliving
anyway
his
afterwards,
pain.
Claire and I turned on each other. You know, we
All this space and time.
we
So good.
resented
So
each
good.
other being alive, you know. I transferred from robbery to narco. Started hitting it, 24/7. Street rips, knocking down doors. Within 3 months, I was ripping off couriers or ending up in a Ramada Inn with a couple of fucking 8-balls. Oh, yeah. Somewhere in there, Claire left. And, somewhere in there, I emptied a 9 into a crankhead for injecting his infant daughter with crystal. Said he was trying to purify her. State attorney gave me one chance to stay out of jail. He said, you can keep your profile, but we want to make you our wild man junkie. So they did. They made me a floater, like a trick. Any agency or department needed a deep undercover narco. They got me. And there was no fucking expiration date, baby.
And they kept you out there for 4 years.
Mm-hmm. In February of 93, I killed 3 cartel men in the port of Houston. I took 3 25s in the side and ended up at North Shore Psychiatric Hospital in Lubbock, Texas. Which is kind of funny in its own right. Psych ward being in Lubbock, Texas. You ever been there? They offered me psych pension.
Pause.
Jackpot, right?
So, a couple things that are interesting here. First is all this background we're now getting on Rust. I think it kind of helps us understand not only who he is, but how he is in the modern day. But there is a time between now and when he met with Marty and met up and was partnered with Marty that he got his act together, both physically and staying away from the drink and the drugs. And it seems like we are just coming in to his relapsing, right? This serial killer that he realizes, that no one else realizes is a serial killer, but that he is saying is a serial killer, this act of crime, that's what's causing the relapse. It's causing him to start back down that path of substance abuse. The other thing that's interesting from a technical point is this is the first time in all the shots we've gotten of this interview with modern day Rust, this is the first time we've had this angle. Usually we're head on with him, but here we're kind of at a profile opened up. We can see his 2 cans of Lone Star, his ashtray of the Best Hug mug or whatever that thing is called, his flask of, whatever alcohol. I don't know if it's reflective of the fact that Rust is opening up and letting us as the audience know some important info from his past, and this opened up shot, if you will, is sort of reflecting that. That's completely interpretive on my part, but it is a halfway decent explanation. Just something I wanted to point out to you. Let's pick it back up.
It's all right. Psych ward being in Lubbock, Texas. You ever been there? They offered me psych pension.
And then we're back to the
Jackpot, right? And I said no.
close
Said,
that we have
"No,
been using with
south
Rust.
somewhere." By then, I was owed quite a few favors. And Louisiana is what they had.
And now we're back in the car after they
Yeah,
been to
for
the
a
chicken
long
ranch.
time after I didn't really sleep. Nightmares, PTSD, exhausted nerves, whatever.
Look at the reflection. The weird images in the sky is what's Russ seeing, and he knows it. We can see it there. Notice that power line. Again, the imagery of the clashing of this big outdoors, wide open natural expanse with invading pieces of technology, machinery, etc. Marty's going, what the hell is wrong with him? And there's another shot of it. We've got the open expanse and we see all that oil refinery equipment.
Yeah.
Why homicide?
That was something I saw at North Shore. Quote from Corinthians. The body is not one member, but many. Now, are they many, but of one body?
What's that mean, though?
I was just trying to stay a part of the body, man.
We also haven't gotten too many shots of those two questioning cops. Papanana, I always forget their names, I'm sorry, but the two African-American cops. We got those guys in single shots in this interview segment, and we haven't seen a lot of that either. Also, just a note on Matthew McConaughey's acting. A lot of people are not a fan of his acting. Man, with this series, particularly with these interview segments, Rust in the modern day being interviewed by these cops, he absolutely destroys it for me. Just so good. Gets every ounce of those words. Remember, McConaughey wrote, before they started filming, when he knew he was going to be Rust Cole, a 400-page dissertation about Rust's background. So all this stuff that he's coming up with the deep undercover narco and the killing the cartel members, that's probably all part of that 400-page treatment that he and Nick Pizzolatto, the writer, worked with as far as his dialogue and origins and when to put it in, etc. Just absolutely great stuff. We're going to transition to a very different kind of scene, something we haven't seen much of in True Detective, something domestic.
The fishing pole's not working. Just ask Grandpa. No. Yeah. Grandpa, I can't tell if it's working.
You'll know, honey. It'll yank at you hard.
Okay. Why didn't you?
What's that case?
So that's Marty's father-in-law.
Working it, you know. Things like that didn't happen in these parts when I was young. People said ma'am and sir. Families stayed together.
Yeah, that's how it was, huh?
Not all the time. There was more dignity. Everyone wasn't out in the street yelling about their rights.
Well, things were so great, they never was changed.
Nothing is going on. I'm just saying, if there's a problem, you can talk to me. You know that.
If I have a problem with someone, I talk to them, Ma.
Well, you should be able to talk to me. I know what it's like to be married to a man.
You think they're all the same, huh?
I don't know why you're so rude to me. If you're frustrated, don't take it out on me.
I think that you need to get your cable fixed and stop confusing me with your soap operas.
Well, you beat up on what you can't control. Makes it bad for everybody else.
Try. I can't. You have smaller fingers. Macy, just do it.
So you're telling me the world isn't getting worse? I've seen kids today, all in black, wearing makeup, shit on their faces. Everything's sex. Clinton.
You know, throughout history, I bet every old man probably said the same thing. And old men die, and the world keeps spinning.
How are the girls?
I got this.
I guess that gives you an idea of how Marty feels about his father-in-law.
I got this lead I wanted to check up on. I told you about it. Maybe your dad could bring you back.
No, he didn't tell me anything about it. This is a family day.
I did tell you about it. I mentioned it. It's the new case. Okay, well, how about we all head back then?
All right, sweetheart. Come on, let's go.
Our line's tangled.
Just paddle in.
Okay. Told you.
Thanks for the lovely afternoon.
Thank you.
And this is actually where we'll end it. I think it's kind of interesting that we capture this ending bit in a wide shot. There's a lot of tension in this scene between Marty's wife and her mom, between Marty and his father-in-law, between Marty and his wife. And rather than go up close to see the reactions and they're like, thanks for a great afternoon, which we know is ironic, we stay wide. The American flag is caught in the shot. Marty's father-in-law was talking about the country. He's kind of spewing those same things that we hear in No Country for Old Men, if you've seen that film. How when we hit to a certain age, things kind of pass us by. And that's how we know when we're really old, because we seem to have these beliefs rooted in another time. Also, we get some nice shots of like the Spanish moss. Obviously, Marty's father-in-law has some money. Just an interesting domestic scene where conflict. There's even conflict between the sisters on the boat as they can't figure out how to fish. A very conflict-laden scene. All right, that's where we'll stop. We'll pick it back up for the next episode of True Detective, Episode 2, Film Bits. Thank you for any time you gave me. I appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.